So we all know what the general point of subculture was, right? In a certain subculture can make friends in the bigger scale of people, right? They have different interests, they have a different views, right? They have different likes, so they meet up with people that have the same interests and likes and whatever as them, so they can be friends with them, because we humans are social animals and we need to have friends, right? And TikTok has fucking ruined that. Obviously, not TikTok itself, just the TikTok culture. So, here's my little rant. Point 1. Hyper-labelizing everything. I am 17 years old, so I was born in 2008. So, when it was kind of the peak of subcultures, I was a bit too young, but yeah, I was pretty conscious during the 2016, 2017, 2018, 2020, 2020, I was pretty conscious then, and also my older sister was emo, so like I was very in close contact with that specific subculture. So if anyone's going to come at me and be like, actually people didn't act like that in 2020, actually people didn't act like that. If you aren't at least 30, then don't try this with me. So obviously we have like subcultures, and then the subcultures have different styles, right? Like for example, we have Gyaru, and then there are all of those styles of Gyaru, which I don't fucking know. I don't know, because I know it's a subculture, but there are all of them, right? So essentially it's culture, right? And then like a little tiny twink between those, like a little tiny difference. Like we are this subculture, but we dress like a bit differently from like what's the base, right? Or we're this subculture, but we dress or we like have just a tiny bit more different, like we have tiny bit more different likes, or maybe we do our makeup differently, right? And labeling fashion styles was always okay, because we as humans need labels to feel important. So having all of those, for example, look at how many goth styles there are, right? We have romantic goth, you have trad goth, you have pastel goth. You can be goth and be like, all of this, right? You don't have to just be like, this Pinterest picture be this, right? It's just this style, there's this style, there's this style, there's every single style, right? And that is very fun. It's also occurrent with the emo subculture, right? Because scene and emo subculture are very connected, as in they listen to mostly the same music. They often have the same elements in fashion, right? They have the same like DIY aspect, right? There's also a whole subculture called schemo. So it's cool, but like in the end of the day, you weren't also very big in the subculture era if you didn't have like your family or friends weren't acting in this. The areas, for example, like how mine looks, right? So you can just look at me and say, I think they're emo. They're cool. I like emo. Let's be friends, right? And this was kind of the whole point of subculture. When you're learning a new language, for example, you aren't like thrown with periodic table from the language, right? You firstly study how to say hello, how are you? And all of that was so that subcultures wouldn't look like, like aliens. Friend breed, it's like a wild animal, don't come close to it. Subcultures wanted to be, accepting, because subcultures just wanted to have more people, right? Because this is what subcultures were about, right? And TikTok has fucking ruined the point of that. Fashion is the least important thing when joining a subculture. I mean, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, if you'll be trying to join, for example, emo subculture, you'll be asked, hey, do you know this band? Do you know this song? Does that relate to you? Do you drink? Do you smoke? Because emo is very anti-stimulant. To just, firstly check off all of the bases to go in, and then we could talk about your fashion, right? You like the music. If you're like engaging mentally with the community, right? You feel like, hey, this is my thing. Like I really resonate with this thing, right? TikTok has demolished the whole point of that. Well, tell me, how many TikToks have you seen that's been like, this isn't emo, this is sing, this isn't goth, this is Grinch. My fucking phone. This isn't romantic goth, this is vampire goth. And vampire goth isn't the same thing as trad goth, and trad goth is the same thing. Don't fucking cock, sock, Gary, princess core, bubblegum, piss pop, 1, 2, 3 core, right? Obviously. Or tell me, how many times have you been on TikTok and saw a Gyaru, whether it was like Hime Gyaru, whether this was like, I forgot the name, but like where they have like different like natural skin colors, right? Whatever type of Gyaru you saw, and you were like, oh, this girl is cute. I will go into comments and tell her that she's pretty, right? And this isn't real Gyaru makeup. Gyaru makeup actually doesn't look like this. I think you should know that. What the fuck does the hashtag Gyaru do in your description of the video? This isn't how real Gyaru makeup looks like. Guys, I, as a person that doesn't use Twitter, I don't engage in any internet drama. Like, I don't, I try to not watch the news. I don't watch TV. As a person who literally has it as a priority to stay away from any kind of negativity, I've seen it way too many times. And this does anything but good to these subcultures, because this defeats the whole point of, hey, look at us, we're normal, we're normal people, we're a bit quirky, we're a bit like, woo, but join us, or like, if you don't want to join us, treat us like we're normal people because we're normal. This is like, if like, this is fucking fish food, but let's say just like, I don't know, like, fits, right? I put this box of fish in front of you, and I say, hey, just in case you wanted to like ever speak to me, I just wanted to tell you that my favorite My Chemical Romance song is that time where Gerard Way suck off his balls and put them into his nose, and then they had to hire the autopsy cleaners because he didn't wash for fucking 2 months, and you can only find it if you buy the Piss Pop 32441 album, which was released back in 2002. So like, just wanted to let you know. And also, have you bought those clothes from fucking Shein? Look at yourself, how you fucking look, micro trend final boss. But yeah, sure, join emo subculture if you want. We'll see if you're as good as me, right? Really fucking defeats the point, not even defeats, it fucking deflates it. Makes it like a fucking balloon that someone just like has a cock in it, like. So here's the first thing, and the number two that what the fuck was that? That also comes from the hyperlabeling. People have forgot that this was a subculture, not a fashion show. And by that if you ask right now any person who declares that they're the most emo, they're the most himegyaru, they're the most piss pop goth, they're the most sane. If you ask any of those people on TikTok, if you come up to them and be like, hey, what is being like emo about? Because your whole fan is about that. Well, it's about not buying clothes on Temu. And it's about listening to emo music. Okay, like, have you ever heard of maybe Escape the Bed? Have you ever maybe afraid of falling in the bed? Those are literally on Spotify. How are these earning? You are a poser, you don't know shit, and fuck off, right? And then if you come up to someone who preaches that they're the most goth, you have no idea what the fuck goth is. And you come to them and you're like, hey, what's being goth about? And they're like, well, it's about not buying your clothes on Temu. And you're like, well, okay, and what else? Well, it's about listening to fucking music, that's goth, you probably don't even know The Cure. And you're like, okay, name 10 songs from The Cure. And they're like, you're a fucking poser, you don't know what you're talking about. And then you come up to someone who preaches that they're the most Gyaru person, and you're like, hey, what's being Gyaru about? And they're like, oh, it's about not buying clothes. To anyone who found out about the concept of subcultures from TikTok, it doesn't work. Like, we have those two postulates about not buying clothes on Temu, which is also a very misinforming thing to say. I will make a follow-up on that. It's just that and listening to music. No, it actually goes way deeper. Example, traditionally, Gyarus, obviously besides Himegi, almost supposed to go get like fake tans or spray tans, because that was just the point of the culture, to be anti-Japanese standards, right? Because Japanese thinks that, that white skin is cool, so we make our skin darker, obviously not to the point of blackface, right? But it was we go get spray tans, and we're and if we have to work, then we incorporate something something like cute or sexy into our clothes, right? And obviously there's been a lot more postulates to Gyaru. I am not Gyaru, so I don't know. I'm just saying from what I know. And if you ask someone on TikTok, they probably won't even know that. I know that, and I am nowhere near Gyaru. Have you seen me? I look like a fucking vampire. Also, this also bothers me a fucking lot because I am emo. I am the most emo. I got some emo.
Emo fell apart.
Come up to any emo creature on TikTok, right? And you know, and ask them if they know that you can't wear those fucking AliExpress like cigarette hairpins here because that defeats the whole purpose, because emo is fucking anti-stimulant, because emo is fucking anti-drinking and anti-drugs. And then some smarty pants will come and be like, hey, did you know that like the whole My Chemical Romance has like problems with like drugs and alcohol? And they'll tell you, surprise, surprise, My Chemical Romance isn't emo. Exactly, because they're doing those exact things, because they are taking drugs, because they are drinking alcohol, because also a very like popular thing is like wait, for example, I made this bag on a sewing machine, right? It's like fully functional. It doesn't like a lot of holes in it. I made this bag on a sewing machine, right? And I understand that, you know, that not everyone has a sewing machine, that everyone, like, you know, has to work within, like, because obviously both emo and scenes have, and schemas obviously have this whole thing when it's like DIY aspect, right? Very cool to do DIYs, right? And an example of that also being the candy, that both of those subcultures wore candy, right? But whatever. People that also claim to be emo on TikTok are often like calling everyone, like, you know, like microtrend final boss, like, you know, Shein boss, Timo boss, right? Because obviously dressing alternative is mostly about, you know, picking in most, like, you know, non-conformist clothes, like editing them, painting on them, ripping them, whatever, right? And then when you ask them what the actual fuck have they done to police around other people, they'll show you this like gloves that have like holes in them, thighs that have a hole in them, and that they've, you know, sewed like a little rose into their tank top. So now they didn't have to buy it from Shein because they sewed a little rose. Do you really fucking think that this is the peak of what emo DIY goes to? Well, not fucking really. Also, another very important thing about being emo. Emos, TikTok emos often have this thing when they're just like, you know, they just go up on SoundCloud and start like emo, and then they, you know, date of posting 2000, like before 2010, and they just like, you know, scroll to the least viewed, and they're like, ha! I know this emo band and you don't. I am so fucking cool. Well, the whole point of listening to emo music was the fact that you like happen to listen to it and you'll be like, huh, I feel like that. That's relatable. I feel like that. I think I should start listening to it more. And you listening, you fucking picking the least popular emo music just to be more emo is the most poser thing one can do. If you do not genuinely like that music, if you do not, because I am sorry, there is no fucking way y'all suddenly 15-year-olds, no hate against 15-year-olds, by the way. My sister was emo when she was 12. Fucking suddenly know over 200 SoundCloud bands, right, that have like plays music data. I'm sorry, there is no fucking way you listen to all that and you think all of that is good. I am fucking sorry. You are a fucking poser if you act like that. And yes, someone who listens to only, let's say for example, My Chemical Romance, and I don't know, what are the like popular bands? I don't know. Pierce the Veil, Fall Out Boy. Let's say someone who only listens to those, also only listens to those. If that person genuinely resonates with that music, if that person feels like the music has that impact on their life, it doesn't fucking matter how popular is it. It has impact on them. It makes them emo. This way, we're switching to number 3 here. Subcultures based around the idea of, you know, we make like of what we have, right? For example, obviously, if you live, I don't know, in Croatia, right? I am Polish, so I know that thing. For example, live in Croatia in 2016. There is no way you can just like, you know, go to I don't fucking know, but there's like those fucking cool ass stores in Japan, right, that have all of those like cool, like, you know, Lolita clothing, for example, right? But you really want to be Lolita, right? You really, you know, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just like what I'm saying from what I remember when I was a Lolita not so long ago. You know, like hosting tea parties, you like being elegant, you like being girly, right? So you just go into the mall, go into thrift store, go into, I don't know, Depop or Vinted or whatever existed at the time in Croatia. I'm sorry, I'm not Croatian. Why did I say Croatia? You know, you just make up out of it, right? So that when someone looks at you, they can be like, they are, you know, maybe this or this or this subculture. And then you'll be like, hey, yeah, I'm actually like Lolita. Maybe I'm actually Menhera, or I'm actually Yami Kawaii, right? So one of those. And then you know, Adams. Okay, I need to go back and fucking math. Nonetheless, now is if you don't dress exactly like this, then let's say you listen to goth music. Don't you dare call yourself goth. You're either piss goth, poop goth, pee-pee goth, pussy goth, you're like Princess Core Pop Goth, you're Coquette Goth, you're Lolita Goth, you're Gary Goth, you're Sting Goth. Oh my fucking god, let people live. Let people live. We have turned we're making something, right, as subculture to be social because we are in a society. They don't like that, so we make our own society so we can have, I think I broke my nail, so we can have friends, right? So this is the most social thing you can do is have a subculture. And we made it anti-social. We turned the point of subculture into a contest for who's cooler, who's better, whose hair looks better, whose makeup is more real, because real gear makeup doesn't look like that, who listens to more emo music, who has more candy, who does more DIYs. Oh my fucking god, go kill yourself, for fuck's sake. Note before I get any smartest comments being like, actually, Pauline, music snobs was always a thing. This isn't anything new, you just weren't born about it. Well, I mean, yeah, but before, if you just act like that, you'd actually act like that in public and not on the internet, because internet, and especially TikTok, when you got algorithms boiled specifically to make us believe like we're the center of the world, like we have friends, like we have, like anyone fucking cares about what we have to say, right? Especially on TikTok, you just go into that bubble of everything. I keep saying that. But in reality, if anyone, and be like, hey, you actually aren't real emo because you don't know the Ballstack Suicide Fate Escape. So, like, you're not real emo. People would come up to you and be like, I mean, they could have just also hit you, but I am not condoning that, obviously. And people would just come up to you and be like, hey, you're defeating the point of subculture. We obviously have some people, like, you know, we compete against each other, like, who is cooler, who is less of a poser, who is less of this, and who is more that. We obviously have that, but you're defeating the whole purpose by being competitive to the point of bullying. Since most subcultures, I'm saying most, not all, most subcultures are very anti-bully. When you are a bully, you're not in a subculture, you're anti-subculture with the subculture you're pretending to be in, right? Then people will just come out and correct you, but this is also the message of the video. If you see someone acting like that, please correct them. And I know that you will get like 1,000 comments saying that, what the fuck, no, I am 12 and I know everything. You're 20, I am 12, I know everything better than you. You're a poser, I'm not a poser, I know better than you. And you will get like 80 comments like that, but people that are idiots will always stay idiots. Right now, they're saying they're emo, and they'll say they're seen. In 10 years, they'll say they're the X subculture. In a year, something else will be trending. They will be that subculture too. They will pass. But the people who actually read and like your comment, even if it'll be like a ratio of 10 to 100, will be people that are genuinely into a subculture. There are people that will genuinely enter a subculture, but they're like, oh, everyone is so mean, everyone is like, so harsh here, I won't join it. They will see your comment, and maybe like one out of those 2 likes, maybe one person will be like, huh, they aren't all so bad. It's just on the internet that people are so bad. Maybe I will join. And then, you're actually doing the most you can as a person to make subcultures alive again, because they really need to be brought alive again. Now, the last argument, which I know is coming because y'all saw that TikTok that's been like, why should we gatekeep? And then it's like, if you search goth up in 2001, you would get this. And if you search goth now, it's this. So we need to allow poser. Because I know you saw that TikTok, I've also saw that TikTok, or like, it was on Pinterest, like whatever. I've also seen that. Yes, that is correct. But here's the thing. Poser, say an example of a poser. It's a person that is visibly does something just because it's trendy, when they only do the basis, but they don't really go into that topic, right? Which is, for example, my husband, Michael Wade, because he not only have cheated on his wife, which is very, it isn't really welcomed in either emo subcultures or like whatever else. Let's say emo subculture, this isn't very welcomed, and also, what isn't welcomed is the usage of drugs and of alcohol and of undisclosed stimulating supplements. Substances. This is who we should call out as a poser. Not Marie, 13 years old from Hungary, who has brown hair because she has allergy to black hair dye, and who bought a black skirt from the mall and threw a Green Day shirt over it, right? And you're calling her a poser because whatever. No, she isn't a poser. She is a baby emo, and I had a lot of baby emos, even baby dry case, or I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. I had a lot of these come up to me and be like, hey, you're so nice, I really like you, I had a lot of these come up to me, and surprise, since they're baby, so they're like 11, 14, right? Surprise, they didn't have dyed hair. Wow, surprise, they didn't have heavy makeup. I know, shocking. Surprise, they didn't have piercings, they didn't have thin eyebrows, they didn't have expensive like bags or clothes from any of unpopular, which are actually very fucking popular, emo are seen, or like Lolita brands, right? They didn't have like very like intricate sewn items, right? Because surprise, they are fucking 12. They cannot have the knowledge of how to operate sewing 16 and up dot. And you aren't calling out popular people. You aren't calling out posers. So people who are pretending to be in the subculture but actually don't fit any of the rules, right? This guy made me out. You are calling out people that looked at you. They said, "Wow, you," or maybe your people, but your people. They looked at as your people. They looked at someone who you interpret as your second family, as your subculture. Someone looked at you. Someone looked at your people, and they are inspired by you. They are trying to be like you, and you're telling them off? You're calling them microtrend final boss? You looked at those people. You see, imagine like a little baby or a little kitty or a little puppy that just looks at you and goes, and they have big eyes, and they have stars in their eyes, and they just look at you like, oh my god, you're so cool. And the thing you tell them is like, actually, have you ever even heard of what PK was? No? You're a poser. You're a poser. Actually, do you even know what? Oh, I remember the word. Have you ever made any stunts on your own? Do you even drink Monster Energy? Oh, you're 12, so you don't drink literal fucking semi-drugs that are Monster Energy? Oh, well then you're a fucking poser. Oh. You're a poser, and you're a fucking meanie, and we don't want you. You are a meanie, and you are a disgrace to the subculture. We don't want you. You're toxic. We don't want you. You're not really useless, but you're actually is actually doing worse. So if you plan on staying in subcultures, either stop saying those fucking mean comments when you see that someone is clearly 14 and they are trying their best to look seen, and they have arm warmers that, oh well, they're on Shein. Oh my god, Shein steals from everyone. So they could be from China, they could be from Hungary, they could be from Poland, they could be from Russia, they could be from Korea, they could be from anywhere. But you look at them and you call them Shein core, and when someone posts, hey, this is my makeup, I'm trying to be alt, tell me how I'm doing, and yes, I've seen an exact TikTok like that, and I've seen the exact comments to it. If you see a person like that and you're fucking comment, or you're liking those fucking comments that are saying, what do you mean trying to be alt? Do you even know what alt is? Well, if you want to be alt, I'd recommend maybe not shopping on Temu. But this is a makeup video. How would you know I buy something on Temu? Yeah, well, you don't fucking look like it. Your makeup is fucking ass. Wow, that's alt. Look at you. That's like clean alt. That's like white girl version of alt. Go alt plus F4 yourself, please. If you're 14, 13, 12, 15, maybe even if you're my age, and you really have the problem, you're like, hey, maybe this whole subculture thing isn't for me, maybe I just don't fit in, maybe they just don't like me, I have no friends, fuck them. You don't need friends like that. You don't need to appeal to those people. You are doing the correct thing. If you're like, everything that I said you're doing, then you're doing the correct thing. You're yourself. You're not trying to be. You're not googling the most underground things. You're finding them by yourself. You're who. You can stand in the mirror and say, I like this music. I like this style. I like these postulates. They resonate with me. I like this political views. They resonate with me. I genuinely feel like them. Then fuck what any of those stink ass, unwashed, cocksucker piss drinkers have to say. You're doing great. Right now, or you're having trouble staying with it because you just find the whole community to be so toxic, please remember that for every reason people that will tell you, oh, you don't even know what goth is, you don't even know the music, name 10 The Cure songs, there will be one person that will come up to you or DM you and be like, hey, that's very nice that you're trying to be God. If I could recommend you some bands or songs, I'll recommend you this and this and this and that. For every 10 people that will tell you your makeup isn't yellow enough, real yellow makeup doesn't look like that, and you're a fucking poser, there will be one person that will DM you and be like, hey, you're nice, hey, I see what you're trying to do, it's very cool, I'd recommend you use this and this makeup, and I think that this tutorial might be useful, yeah, tell me what you think. And for every person that will tell you that you're not emo enough, there will be 100 people to correct them. Maybe 99 of them will be wrong, but at least one of them will be right and will come up to you and say, hey, it's really nice you're trying to be here, I really appreciate you. If I could recommend you some things, do this and this and this and that, because we understand, people that actually want to be in subculture, that you don't just come up and know everything, that real people don't go on Google, on SoundCloud, they don't go on the last page of Tor just to find the most underground songs. We understand that. We want to introduce you into the more heavier and like more weirder music softly, gradually, so that you actually want to be here. And if you can, please be one of those people. Next time you see someone that is clearly trying to be emo, dry keg off, whatever, you see someone and you see that they're wearing, let's say, clearly Shein quality clothes, right? You can come up to them and say, hey, I see what you're trying to do. It's very nice that you're experimenting with your style. Are you maybe perhaps trying to, let's say, be goth, right? And then you'll be like, okay, that's cool, but like I can see that those clothes are clearly bad quality. This isn't really what the goth subculture wants to promote. So if I could recommend you some stores, please go there and there and there and there. Stop saying, go to the thrift. Some people don't have a fucking thrift. Some people don't have a fucking thrift. Go to the Goodwill. I am fucking Polish. We don't have Goodwill. Half of the world is European. No, we don't have Goodwill. No, we don't have stuff like that. We don't have Home Depot. Actually, come up to someone. I am Polish. If someone fucking comes up to me, I can tell them, go to the store, go there. I have a really good thrift down here. I recommend it. I know this person that sells secondhand clothes on here. I know how to turn clothes from the mall into this. I can help you do that. You can do that. And if doing that bothers you too much, if it hurts your fucking pride, leave. Leave. For God's sake, leave. Stop scaring people away. And as much as I'm always telling everyone to go outside, maybe you should fucking stay inside. Because people like that don't belong in the public space. I am very sorry. People that have nothing to spill out of them but toxicity should fucking shut up. Or go to therapy and fix their fucking behavior. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
I just got so emo, I fell apart.